back to the On the Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. Why we do this on a Friday night? Because Friday night is horror night. A homegrown talent would get that reference with it being a Channel 4 thing where they used to play the free-to-air TV horror movies. Do you remember
that? I vaguely do, actually. Yeah.
90s and early 2000s, Channel 4 used to give you the old freebie at 10 o'clock when the watershed ended. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
days are gone.
Yeah, but you've got Sky now, so it's grand.
That's true.
As you can see, no King again tonight, no Ted, no Ian. That work thing keeps popping up for them. But it is Homegrown Talent Week again. And we have a very talented Irish actor here by the name of Martin O'Sullivan. How are you, sir?
I'm really good. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day to come on.
Yeah, no, man, that's no problem at all. I've watched some of your stuff before, and I was like, yeah.
This guy get me through an interview.
I think I like your honesty. Maybe by the end of it, we'll see.
This guy will get me through an interview, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for taking the time out of your night. At least it's not middle of the night time for one of us, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is good. It is quite late, but I got a lot. Can I mention brands here at all?
Yeah.
Okay, I love Pepsi, and I'm drinking that, and that's going to keep me.
There's no whiskey in that Pepsi either. I was very disappointed with that.
Yeah, that's right. No, definitely not.
Not on this day of the week, anyway. But sure.
No.
Martin,
maybe tomorrow.
Maybe.
You've planted the seed in my head. Maybe it's going to happen soon. It's in the universe now. Whiskey and Coke. It's either your world or my world. It's going to happen.
As I said there, it's Homegrown Talent Week. So obviously you're from the old Emerald Isle, not far from us. You're in Dublin.
Yes.
And a talented actor at that. Do you want to tell us how you got started in acting and tell us a bit about yourself?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Well, I started acting when I was in primary school. I was doing, I remember when there was like these plays that were in churches. The local church were doing a play and like Easter, Christmas. This is from the very beginning. Don't worry, I won't go every year beyond that, but that's where it started. Where it was like, who wants to be in the play? Put your hands up. I put my hand up. Everyone was like, "What are you doing that for?" You know, all of my friends are all football, sport, mad, all that kind of thing. So I was like, I want to try this. I just want to do it. So I did that, and then I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." Loved it. But then I went back through education, and I never really got the opportunity to do it. The school I went to didn't have drama, so I kind of went the academic route, sports, all that kind of stuff. Then it was almost like years later, say when I was in my 20s, I remember like being in bars and just drinking Pepsi with no whiskey in it. No, I'm just kidding, but just like propping up bars, saying to myself, well, I just have to get back to this acting. You know, it's just something that's inside me that I just wanted to revisit and get back into it. So eventually I started doing some plays in the theatre group out here in Skerries where I live. I did 2 plays in a year and got a great buzz for it. Loved it. Then I started doing some short kind of intensive acting training. And I remember one of the first ones I did, it was a week-long, really intensive course. And by the end of the week, someone told me about an audition coming up for a TV commercial. So I was like, well, do I do the last day of the course, or do I just go for this commercial? Maybe I'll learn from that more. At that stage, right, I've done enough in the room, you know, theory and all that kind of stuff. And I said, right, I'll just go for this audition. I'll probably learn something from that, because they were talking about auditions at the course, you know, what to do and stuff. So I went for that. It was for like a big a toy show or a toy company, Smith's Toys, I think. I don't know if I can mention it or not, but I went for that, and I just sat there and I got to talk to a bottle of water like it was my son, and I actually got it in the end. The commercial, I got the audition and got passed, got picked for it, loved that. And then I just started doing short movies and stuff after that, and I learned a lot on the job, if I'm honest. That's what I did. I did a few more courses, but it was all it just kind of grew from there. So it was always just a passion, something that I just loved to do. I think I mentioned to you before we went on air, but it was acting is what I really love doing. I'm not really into directing or any other facet of the industry yet. I just love acting that much. That's my sole focus. So I think, did I answer your question there? I think I did.
All I did was ask you your name.
Yeah.
Sorry, you might have noticed me jumping there. I was sitting there, and as you were talking, something fell off the table. Fucking scared the bejesus out of me.
Oh, it's one of those things. I've got a lot of stories like that. When you're working, I've done a lot of horror movies, and I have a few stories where like weird things
Oh,
happening on set and stuff like that as well. I think it's
we'll get into them later on. So
yeah, all
sorry,
that
that's what
negative energy, you know.
you might have noticed me looking away there. Something fell off the table. I was like, Jesus Christ, because it's
Yeah,
only me
yeah,
sitting here. I'm like, and we've no pets or anything. So um, thing.
spooky.
But obviously, you said acting was your main thing, and that's what you want to do, and that's what you went back to. So it's great when you hear somebody that has obviously let the dream go to go and further educate themselves and try and make a life of it, and then to go back to it to be successful in it is obviously a major bonus for you, because obviously it's a tough gig to do.
Yeah, it is. It can be tough. There's a lot of you deal with the rejection. You have to learn to deal with that. And just over time you understand that you're not going to be perfect for every role. And there's some stuff that I've thought I was suitable for and I didn't get it, and then I seen it and I was like, oh yeah, I can see why I didn't get it. But then the stuff that I did get cast in and got into, I kind of really felt, yeah, this is for me, you know.
Yeah, the easiest way to deal with the rejection is
Yeah, I see that as well. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just it's
I-
yeah, it's a tough. But I do it for me, you know. I just love doing it. I do it all. Like I was talking to a guy the other day, and he was talking about he was trying to sell a TV show, and he's writing, and he's gone through another round of it, and he's just sounded like he was down. And I was like, I said, man, just I can remember why you're doing it, why you started off doing it in the first place. Just tap into that passion. You're doing it for yourself. In the end of the day, you don't need other people to tell you you're good. You're doing it
yeah.
because you love it, you know. And that's why I do it. I just do it. I love it. Whether it's big or small, big budget, low budget, I'm happy if I'm there and if the role's right for me, and I feel like I can, you know, add to the role and just enjoy it. Then that's ticking all the boxes for me, you know.
And I mean, obviously being a homegrown talent, you got cast in probably I'd go out on a limb and say probably the best Irish horror that's been made in a long, long time. And You're Not My Mother, obviously by the extremely talented Kate Dolan as well. Um, so how did that come about?
Well, I I was in Kate's first short, kind of big short movie. It was called Catcalls, another horror movie. So I remember like my
Good too.
agent just got in touch with me and said, I was working on a shoot down the country somewhere and I was coming back and I'd only arrived back home that morning and my agent rang me and said, listen, I've got an audition for you tonight in town. Would you be interested in going? It was late evening. And I was after being at a gig for like the guts of 3 or 4 days. I just arrived back and I said, oh, I don't know. And then said, like I said to you before, I was like, look, this could be something really cool. I'll just go for it. So I headed into the audition and it went really well. I got to meet her. Um, and then she cast me in that. It was like a bad guy role, you know, whereas I don't know if you know the movie, but I played,
Good movie.
yeah, it was a Screen Ireland one. So fair play to Screen Ireland for coughing up a lot of money. I think it was like 50 grand, which is crazy. Like I'd never been in a lead role in a short of that kind of level before, you know. So like Screen Ireland to throw that sort of money at us at that time was amazing. So I met her through that, and then I worked with her again on a music video for a Dublin band called Pillow Queens. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Me and music are just no. It's like me and tequila. It
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
yeah. Yeah. So I worked with her on that, and then I've been in touch with her all the time. Like we're kind of friends, you know. We've met for coffee and stuff like that, and messaged each other quite a bit. And then she just out of the blue, she just reached out to me. You're my mother, saying if there's a part in it, you should. I thought I had to reach out to you first because she said I think I'd be perfect for it. And I was like, send me on the script, and I'll have a look at it and I'll get back to you. And because it was at the week, I think it was a Friday she sent it, so I was like, wanted to read it over the weekend. So I read the script and I was like, read it once. I was like, oh, this is really good. And then I was like, I'm going to read it again. And I never read scripts twice in a row like that. That's the first time I've ever done that. And probably the last time I've done that, where I've read a feature script back to back twice. And I remember thinking, oh, I love this script. I said, if she can translate this script into screen, it's going to be amazing, because every line in that movie, every piece of dialogue that I read was it was just so clever. There was no throwaway lines in any part of it. It was all, every little sentence had some sort of connection to another scene or another character.
It was very intense movie.
Yeah, it was so cleverly written. Yeah, and then I was really proud of that one. And we shot it during COVID as well, which was kind of a tough time for everyone for obvious reasons. But it kind of helped me through COVID, because we weren't doing any gigs, because a lot of the low budget stuff couldn't afford to have COVID-19 officers, and again,
you're paying extra staff and everything.
Yeah, there's all these extra like hoops you have to jump through, I guess, from a production point of view. So luckily they had the money to make this during lockdown. So yeah, I loved working on it, and I got to work with Jordan and Hazel Dupe on a scene together. I played Jordan Jones' dad in it. But yeah, and it was like the first or second day of the shoot that I was on it. So I remember just saying to Kate at the end of the day, I just said to her, listen, just go make a great movie. And she was like, oh, I'll try. I said, yeah, I know you're going to do it. I know you are. And because she's just so talented, like I could just tell, So then it premiered, I think, in Toronto, but they had a screening in Dublin, at Dublin International Film Festival. And for me, that was amazing, because being from Dublin and then having a screening there in the Lighthouse Cinema, and then like she introduced all the cast at the end to the full audience. This was again just at the end of COVID, so it was the first time I'd been in a cinema in ages, But being from Dublin and being introduced to the Dublin crowd, it was amazing. I was really proud to be involved in that movie, and then having seen it, I was like, yeah, it's a brilliant movie,
I actually got invited to that by someone that had tickets that I worked with.
Yeah.
I couldn't go because I was on a night shift.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. And I was like,
you could have met them without, yeah.
I was like, it's for me at the time. I was like, it's only got to be another Irish film like Shrooms or something. Really wasn't a fan of Shrooms. But I was like, it's just. I was like, whatever. It says, go and enjoy it. And I came back. He came back to me. It was like, it was just unreal. And I was like, now unreal in terms of what? Unreal in terms of being better than Shrooms, or unreal as in like top drawer? And he was like, just you'll see it when it comes out, and it'll come back to me. And they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. I was glued to it. Because I said it to the lads in the group chat right after I watched it. I was like, you need to watch this, lads. It's right up there in terms of Irish horror, right up there.
Yeah, they did so well internationally too. Like I even seen an article there recently. I think it was the New York Times, or was it? No, it was like, sorry, apologies. It had won some award at the New York Times as well, incidentally. But I seen an article recently about I think it was the Guardian, where they recommended films to watch this weekend or something, and it had like Fargo, a couple of other like big. I think Jackie Brown was there, and it had You Are Not My Mother at the top. Like, this is the one we would recommend above all these other movies. And I was like, oh my god, that's insane,
nice.
For an art movie, like internationally, to do that well,
I seen it on. It might have been Bloody Disgusting, or one of them big name ones had put something out about it as well. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, this is really taking traction now. That's before I'd seen it. So when I started seeing it like that, I was like, oh shit, maybe he wasn't lying saying that it was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't disappointed anyway. Now, it's not an easy watch. It's not an easy watch horror movie. It's real. You have to follow it the whole way through. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can sit down and turn on Friday the 13th, and Jason's just gonna fuck a lot of people up.
Yeah.
You have to follow along with it.
Yeah, it gets under your skin. I think that's because, again, when I read the script first, I remember thinking to myself, like, if this gets translated from script to screen, like the way I had it in my head, I knew it was going to freak people out, because I remember reading parts of it, the script, going, oh, fuck, that's really scary. Like, I can just imagine. I remember there's one scene where I can't remember exactly. I remember saying to Kate, like, I can't wait to see this scene. I don't know how you're going to shoot it, but
Yeah,
it's going to be terrifying, you know.
you couldn't have gone through it without doing what Maya did for Longlegs, where she didn't get a chance to read most of the scenes that she'd have with Nicolas Cage, and she didn't see what he looked like right now.
No,
Couldn't have winged it like that.
no. I kind of, I was just wanted to read it. It was during COVID, and it was like, obviously there was a dry spell in terms of scripts, like good scripts coming your way, and it was like, I just got it. I was like, oh, I have to read this. You know, I've got so much time hanging around here. So it was nice. I was reading, like, my character got referenced in different parts of the story as well. So it was like, obviously you had bits that I was in, and then there was, you know, just so clever the way it all just came together.
It's very good. I seen a list. I can't remember who put it out. There was some Irish blogger or podcaster or something that's not me. And I was watching it, and they put a list of Irish horrors together, and it actually made it to second on it now. It got taken over by Oddity.
Oh yeah, that's the new one. I haven't
Uh,
seen that yet.
yeah, Damien McCarthy's one. And his other film, Caveat, I don't know how to say it. It was on Shudder, was very good. So I was really looking forward to seeing that one. But like, even to be ranked as second is very good.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
And especially for like a lower end budget movie to be, well, not that it was a lower end budget in terms of Irish budgets, but it's a lot lower than most international films get.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah, like, it's like, to achieve that with that amount of money, like, probably in any other country you would have been talking maybe triple, four times the budget. You know.
Yeah. God, Irish film love horror, don't they?
Yeah. Well, thankfully they do. Yeah, because I like the whole reference to the folklore, the Irish history, and Halloween and Samhain. And I think in France it was called Samhain or something like that. They changed the name of it.
The movie was.
Yeah, I believe so. Something like that. It had a
Oh,
different name. And I think I could be wrong now, but I'm pretty sure. Is Samhain Irish for Halloween, or is it some?
Sound, yeah.
So I think it was called that maybe in some other country. I'm
Strange.
pretty sure. Yeah, they might. I never saw the poster, but I believe so. Yeah. But I
It's
like that whole reference to the history of Ireland as well. Kind of, you know, because we all got brought up with bonfires, and you know,
getting to that
are
time
we
of the
allowed to
year
say
again now.
almost Halloween now? Can I say that it's October? I don't know when this is going out.
Well, at the time of recording, it's getting close to Halloween.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So,
You can hear fireworks in the background just about. Well, there was a load earlier on. I was
are you
going to hope.
known already, Eddie?
Well, I heard a few earlier on, a few bangs. Yeah.
I've been looking now. I haven't heard that really as of yet, but they will.
Well, you
Um,
don't need them. You don't need any scares. You've got them in your house. You've got, like, furniture falling over, and
yeah. I don't know what it was that fell. I think it was clothes pegs that I had. I was hanging out clothes earlier, and I had the pegs on the table or something fell. I don't know. I scared the
yeah.
fucking bejesus out of me because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, it looked
Um,
like that. You looked afraid, all right.
but obviously, as you said, you worked with Kate on Cat Call, and I was only saying to you off screen. I was down at the weekend, just gone at the time of recording. I was down at Monasterevin HorrorCon, and I was actually, someone brought up, had I seen that to me? Had I seen Cat Calls? I was, of course, I've seen it. I watch everything and anything that I can find. Like, my time has just consisted of watching random stuff that gets sent to me.
Yeah, that's cool, though,
Uh,
right?
Oh yeah, and I, at the time, because I knew we had this lined up for today, but I hadn't said that. Oh yeah, well, I've got the main guy that's in it coming on, because if something fell through, I don't want to be looked like a dick.
Yeah,
But
yeah, sure.
I was like, it was a very good movie. For the short film that it was. What is it? It's 10 minutes, 9 minutes,
Yeah,
10 minutes, something like
I
that.
believe so. Maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes or so. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty short,
yeah.
but it's intense. There's no throwaway scenes or lines in it. It's all pretty visceral. It's in your face, that one. You know.
Yeah.
I guess with the time frame, it has to be.
So unfortunately, that's those two are the only two that I've seen from your IMDb. Um, I know you have other ones here. So I see one here called Red Room. It looks like a horror movie.
Yeah, I did that years ago. That was
2019. It says here,
Yeah, well, it wasn't that long ago, I guess, but that was yeah, it was like a it's very much a horror film. It's about the dark web, and where I don't know if you're familiar with what a red room is. I didn't know at the time, but it's where people are like kidnapped, put into a room, and you get these guys online. And they'll bid
yeah.
to
Oh,
enact
yeah,
some sort of
something. It's like Hostel.
yeah, yeah, probably pretty much. So I was one of the guys on the computers, kind of shirt and tie, kind of. I was a lawyer or something like that. I was based in the States, and I was like bidding to do this and that. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting, to be honest with you. Like, but it was very much, yeah, it was a slasher. You know, like
I'd be
it's not sort
intrigued.
of
I'd be
movie I'd
intrigued to
watch.
see
You know,
that.
huh?
I'd be intrigued to see that now.
Yeah, there was a
I'm
couple
not.
of, couple of guys in it from Game of Thrones were in it, and stuff like that. And you know, actually, the guy that one of the guys you interviewed a guy called Sean Bryan recently. I watched it recently.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I know
I,
Sean. Yeah, friend of
I
mine.
worked with him. I have a film coming out with him actually.
Wolf at the Crossroads.
Yes, yes, yeah, that one. So it's his uncle who directed Red Room because his
Oh, you
family
told me
are
that actually. Yeah.
filmmakers. So yeah, that's the connection there. So I met him on Red Room, met Sean, and then he reached out to me last year and said, "Listen, I've got a part in it, which is another horror, believe it or not. And this one is I get to play the devil in it,
Yeah. He told
a
when he
man
told me
as the devil."
when he told me the name of it, I was like, yes, werewolf movie. And then I met him for lunch one day. Do you remember the riots that happened in Dublin after the incident?
Yeah,
Uh, Me and him had lunch that day, and we were out not far from where that happened. And I was like, yeah, nice, grand, nice new werewolf movie coming out. He's like, it's not a werewolf. I was like, I don't want to
uh,
see it then. But
yeah. The name is you suggested is definitely going to be wolves there, but
yeah, because I had said it to him. I says,
not
I,
literally.
I said to him, I says, what day are you shooting next? And he was like, sometime in December. And it just happened to be a weekend. I wasn't free because I was going to go up because you were out near the RDS shooting, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
I was going to go up and see what it was like on set.
Another opportunity we could have met in real life, but it didn't happen.
Everyone wants to meet me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure
Just
why, but everyone does.
well, this is where we got to meet here over
Yeah.
this podcast, so that's pretty cool. Eventually,
Um, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing that now when it comes out. I know he's kept everything close knit to himself. I've seen a couple of stills that he put up, and that's about it. And I'm like,
yeah, I
yeah,
better be careful what I say about that. Other
you
than
know,
I
I
mentioned,
wouldn't go too much.
no, I play a bad guy in it as well as much as I can say. I said the devil, but not in a physical or it's more like a in a subconscious way. Maybe you could describe it that way, in a
In a
subtle way.
figurative way.
It's not. Yeah, I think
No,
it's on
I'm not.
IMDb anyway, so you can see my character as bad guy or
I'll be looking forward to seeing it. All right, yeah. I know Sean. He's another talented director. All right.
yeah, he's brilliant. He's really good. I really enjoyed working on that one actually. He's he's real focused and he's a really good clear vision about what he wanted with the film. You know, on every scene, it was like he knew exactly he. I always prefer working with people who write and direct if I can because it's when you're on set, there's always that comfort when you know the guy who's directing wrote it as well. So especially in the lower budget stuff, so there's
Yeah,
less
because it'll be
room
his
for gray
project.
areas.
Really,
Hmm?
it's his project, so he's
Yeah,
got the most to lose.
it's less ambiguous, so there's no room for
Hmm.
mistakes or people not interpreting it right. Like always like as an actor, I like to go to someone. Obviously do as much as you can beforehand, but it's always nice on the set to know that somebody there knows exactly what's happening in every scene and what has to be shot, and
Yeah.
so you don't have to worry about any of that.
No, yeah, because I'm very intrigued to see it now. Obviously, when we went for lunch that day, he was talking about it and what he expects from it and stuff. So I'm really intrigued now to see when it comes out.
Yeah, he's making good progress with it. He was in touch there recently saying that I think he released a little teaser trailer. Did you see that? Maybe about a
No,
month ago.
I must have missed that. I'll go and check that out after this.
Yeah, he might have only, no, he did. I think he made it public. He might have put it on Facebook somewhere. Now it's quite short. It doesn't give much away, but
Yeah,
Something for you.
I must go. No, I say I haven't seen it, but when I go and watch it, I'll be like, oh, I must have watched it.
Yeah, yeah.
But as far as I know, I don't think I've seen it. I must go and check it out. But yeah, we're looking forward to that now. Obviously, I'm just going through your IMDb here. You have a movie called Chimes, or
Yeah,
it's a
Chimes is an
short
interesting.
movie.
Yeah, that was fun. That was one that came to me out of the blue. Actually, I think they did a film where they had someone else cast for it, but then they changed it around last minute. So I got a call out of nowhere saying, "Listen, you'd be interested in doing this? We think you'd be perfect for this particular role." And I was playing perfect for a role. Sounds great, but it was for a serial killer. So I don't know how you interpret that. Whether you're perfect for the role of the serial killer. It's like,
You've just got that Patrick Bateman look.
Well, do you know what it was? I think I did a video with for a band called Clan of Zymox. You won't know who they are, but they're kind of like I don't know, like a modern day Cure, but they're from Holland or something. So I did a music video for them, and I was in that when I played like a sinister kind of character in the music video. And I think someone who was in the music video saw me and went,
That
or
guy.
they seen me in that and went, oh, he could be really good at that serial killer role, perhaps. I think that's where it came from. I could be wrong, but yeah, that was cool. That was a psychological kind of. There's about like a guy who was, damaged psychologically growing up, and then the impact of that, and in his adult life, and he's kidnapping and killing people and all bad stuff. What was weird about that one is I ended up winning awards for that one, which is I didn't know you could win best actor awards for short films. I just didn't think they existed. But so I ended up getting like I think 3 or 4 awards in the post from all over the
Nice,
world saying you've won best actor for Chimes, and I was delighted with that.
nice.
Yeah, it was a bonus.
Little Golden Globe.
Yeah, one's like a little skull. Yeah, they're all different shapes and sizes, but I have them upstairs. My daughter's like
The horror
my
ones are
daughter, and
cool.
she's like, "What do you win them for?" And I was like, I don't know. I'll tell you when you're older.
That is a high class actor.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You pay serial killers and bad guys, but I am
yeah,
moving away from that. Believe it or not, I've more recently I've been doing kind of like family dramas, and I did a comedy. Believe it or not, this year.
nice. I
Yeah,
don't
so
like that, but
no,
stick to the horror genre.
I know I will always. There'll always be a theme of horror there for sure, but it was
But
nice to try something different.
like this is what I said to everybody, and people were like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to be typecast." And I was like, "But why?" I says, "I understand not wanting to be typecast, but if you fit a certain role, you go to the well as much as you can, as often as you can." And I understand people want to do different things, right? I do, but you're not going to turn down a role in a movie that could potentially go big because you don't want to be cast as a bad guy. You don't want to be cast as like like the way good looking girls end up in the same kind of roles for numbers of films, things like that. Why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get everything that comes my way. I'll give it like a fair crack.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say I want to be in a rom com or I want to be in a horror. I just look at them all individually.
so that's what it is. It's a different
You know,
project every time.
yeah, you look at them individually. You go into a blank canvas in your mind, and you just like envisage yourself in it. Or some scripts you read straight away, you get a connection with it right away. You'll know, like, yeah, I want to do that. And other ones, you're not sure. So yeah, I tend to. I like horror. I don't know why. I'm a big horror fan. Like I watch a lot of horror movies. Um, TV series, pretty much all the recent stuff. Like my wife, I always liked horror, but like when I met her, she's a huge horror fan, which I didn't really know. But every horror film coming out, she wants to go and see it. So she got me really into it. Then watching all this horror, then eventually I started getting cast in horror movies as well. So
It seems to be the like even from talking to indie stars from the States, it seems to be the one that it's easier to get in, but is more rewarding to get in. Because obviously you get a all right, people will be like, oh, horrors, this, that, and the other. But there's a more broad definition of acting in horror than probably in most films. So I mean, you're going from like theoretically 90% of horror films you start off happy, it goes to shit, and people start getting killed.
yeah,
Theoretically, do you know what I mean? and then you're going terrified throughout the middle. Where if it's a rom-com, you're gonna get the usual happy, sad, falling in love, happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like the horror movies, like, they're great in the sense that, so a lot of the modern horrors now are very much like kind of like, even You're Not My Mother is like it's a family drama based with horror themes that are kind of very much real, you know.
Yeah.
But you're always looking to kind of humanize characters, and like even the bad guys, you know, the serial killers, they, I mean, they just they function in everyday life. Like you'd walk past them on the street and you wouldn't know them. You know what I mean? They get up in the morning, they have breakfast. They're not constantly bad all the time, you know. So I think horror films are starting to show that now, where there is like a human quality to a bad guy, but then eventually it kind of comes through, you know.
Yeah, like I'm one of these people that no matter what I have, if I haven't seen an ad for the movie, I'm usually rooting for the bad guy. So
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
yeah, that's just a theme, a thread through your films.
You're going into a film and you're like, yeah, I want that guy to just fuck some people up. Like I have like when I watched Terrifier 2 and even Terrifier 1, I was within and I was just like, yeah, just want to go and see art kill some people, you know what I mean? Don't want too much of a convoluted story. Just go in and start fucking people up.
Yeah, you like slashers then, I guess.
Um, yeah, I do love slashers. Like if I was to be with a gun to my head and someone asked me what's my favorite subtype, I'd still go creature feature.
Okay.
I'm a huge creature feature fan. But in terms of like horror, you know what you're gonna get 90% of the time.
Mm.
So it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'll still watch anything. Like don't get me wrong, I love slashers as much as the next person. But if you tell me to sit down and watch one type of movie for the next 5 years, I'd go creature feature.
Really? Okay.
So
I'd watch anything really. I wouldn't have any massive preference. A bit, give everything a fair go and see if I enjoy it or not. You know.
well, there you go. There's your next question. Gun to your head, and you have to pick one subgenre of horror. What would you
Ooh,
pick?
of horror. Oh, probably psychological. Is that would that be a subgenre?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like I
I,
like
I, I do like the fact that you didn't use that stupid term elevated horror. I can't stand
no.
that term. I cannot stand it.
This would have been a blank screen if I had said it right.
Yeah. Oh no, I fucking hate it. I hate it. It makes it sound like it's better than every other type of horror.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a bit of a strange one, all right. But no, yeah, psychological horror, like the like family driven kind of like horror, where it's kind of like a blend between reality and horror. And if horror is more kind of, if it's something that whoever's watching it can think, shit, this could happen to me, you know, in my life.
Mm.
That's the type of horror I like, you know.
So Midsummer, Hereditary, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
This conversation is going to end quite quickly here. I can't stand either of those two movies.
I know that. Like that's what I'm saying. I was thinking, but that's what I said when you asked me. It's like the opposite to you, probably. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like it depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I'll sit down and I'll watch a creature feature. Like I'll give everything. But you said if
No,
a gun to the head, yeah, I'd probably go for something where I'm sitting there, kind of like feeling kind of uncomfortable,
yeah,
rather than watching something uncomfortable. I want it to make me feel kind of uncomfortable. That's what
yeah.
I kind of enjoy that, because it takes you out of your own life and it's more escapism, you know.
Them kind of movies don't really bother me. It's just I didn't like those two movies. I was like, and King obviously he keeps asking me to rewatch them, so I will eventually get to rewatching them because I haven't watched them since I seen them in the cinema.
Mm.
And I was just like, yeah, it is what it is. Like the easiest one to say is slashers because there's so many different types. Do you know what I mean? Like a slasher, I do go back to this funny meme I seen on Facebook where it's someone talking to somebody and it's like horror when it's done really well is perfect. Horror slashers when they're done stupidly are perfect. Do you know what I mean? It just depends on what way you want. the only way you can fuck it up really is if you try and take the movie too seriously when you know it's not going to work. And even
Yeah,
then, they're fun. So like, I get the love that most people have in different genres, and that's why horror is probably the best genre of film. Do you know what I mean? Like you have comedy in there, uh, and like, if you really wanted to, you can have gratuitous violence, gratuitous nudity, and no one bats an eyelid at it. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Now I'm part of the small group of people where I'm just like nudity doesn't need to be thrown into films just for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, definitely.
some of my favorite horrors don't have any in it at all, really. Like I'm a huge fan of Wrong Turn, the first one, and there's little to none in that at all.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
everyone's like, oh, horror's all about the pretty girls getting naked. No, horror is just about the idea of being scared.
yeah.
Really?
Well, it kind of it's developed so much over the last couple of years. I'd say it's, as you said, there's so many different subgenres now, and
Yeah.
there's something there for everyone, and whatever mood you're in, there's something there. It's all under the guise of horror, but
Different ways of doing it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Ultimately, as you said, as long as it scares the shit out of you,
Yeah, it's
happy
very
days.
rare. It's very rare that any movie does that to me now.
Ah, that's sad.
Yeah. I think it's just because I've seen so many now, and I'm like, oh, you can kind of tell what's going to happen.
Right.
Like I always go back to when people ask me, like, "What's the last one that got you?" And I says, "I think it was The Conjuring. Was the last one that really got me." I don't know whether have you seen that.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I
So
really like that movie.
you know the scene when she's at the top of the stairs looking down, and you're expecting something to come up out of the darkness, and the hands come from behind her.
Yeah,
I was just like, perfect,
yeah,
absolutely perfect.
yeah.
That movie was so fucking good. Like
Yeah,
everyone goes on about like possession movies, and they're all like The Exorcist. Absolutely not for me. I'll take The Conjuring all day, every day.
yeah. No, it's a
And
brilliant movie. I'm gonna watch
people
it
are
again.
like, people are like, how can you have that over The Exorcist? Easy, absolutely easy. James Wan's a fucking genius.
Definitely.
So, yeah, there's like, and I do find now watching all sorts of horrors, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know roughly know what's coming, and I do like it. It's still fun. It's still great to watch people getting butchered up and stuff. Like I watched at the time of recording, stream only dropped yesterday. Um, on streaming platforms. Ironically, a name of a movie called Stream was made by the Terrifier crew.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get. I thought you'd. Yeah,
You
Stream.
know, yeah, Stream is the name of the movie. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I haven't heard about that one.
it's made by Fuzz on the Lens Productions and Michael Levy, who directed it. Who was a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome.
But like you should see the cast it has in it. It has Dee Wallace. It's got Danielle Harris, Daniel Roebuck, Tim Curry, Tim Ream. Just an ensemble. Bill Mosley. If you get a chance to check it out, I don't know whether you like sci-fi movies, do you?
I do, yeah, I do like sci-fi.
Have you seen the Spielberg one, Ready Player One?
Yes, yeah, because I actually, believe it or not, I bought a VR headset during COVID, and I bought another one since, and I watched films in there, and obviously Ready Player One's about
Uh,
virtual reality, mixed reality, and stuff like that. So I get that, and I like the sci-fi element of that too.
so this is kind of like Ready Player One. It's like they're playing a game.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that film. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry.
it's a horror version of that, but without the VR headset.
So how does that work?
So
You're in.
they're all on like webcams, not webcams, but like security cameras,
Oh, okay.
and people are watching. So do you know what you were saying the way Red Room was done?
Yes.
It's like that.
Oh, okay. It's like a voyeur. Yeah, so you're like
Yeah,
watching almost like them.
yeah.
All right, cool.
So good, so good.
Stream. You know, I must
Yeah,
check that out.
yeah. It only dropped as at the time of recording. It only dropped on streaming platforms yesterday. Um, but as soon as I came up, I was like, "Yep, I'm in."
Yeah, no, it sounds like one of those. Sometimes you read a premise and you're just like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna. Yeah, there's no. It's only a matter. It's not if, it's when. You know.
yeah.
Have you
But I tell
seen? We're
you,
talking about sci-fi. Have you seen the new Aliens movie? Do you like? Would you consider? That's another topic. Would you consider any Aliens movies to be horror, or you just like no, it's
just
sci-fi?
just the first one,
Just the first one only.
just
Yeah.
the first one. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
just the first one.
agree. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. Like I've
Yeah.
watched all the subsequent ones, and there's horror elements, but it's kind of more
Same
action.
same as Terminator. First Terminator could easily be construed as a horror. But the second one is not. Second one sci-fi. Same as Aliens is sci-fi.
Yeah, it is. And then there's the new one, which is the last film I went to see in the cinema, which is the Romulus one.
Romulus.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
that
really good
dropped yesterday as well.
on streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. It was.
I haven't seen it yet. I have to do it justice. I'd have to go back and watch Alien 1 and 2. I refuse to watch the rest of them because
Yeah, yeah.
they're there, and that's the
It's one
best.
of the best. It's one of the from in my opinion, it's probably one of the best ones since the original two movies. I think. Now, I don't
Probably
know.
would
It's
be
when I
hard.
watched Fresh, and I had a couple of novel elements in it that hadn't been done in the
Yeah,
other in other Alien movies, which was kind of like, oh wow, like you think to yourself, why didn't they do that in one of the original Alien movies? But I guess they were so good they didn't need to. But they found one or two new things with the acid blood and stuff like that. Where
oh,
killing the
nice,
acid.
nice.
Yeah, there's a cool scene where I won't spoil it for you, but yeah, it
Yeah,
involves blood as acid, and it's yeah, just
I'm certainly going to give it a watch. I'll probably give it a watch. I might watch it tomorrow. We'll see how things are going.
that's good.
But yeah, there's been quite a good, and it's been quite a resurgence for horror over the last 3 or 4 years. In terms of cinema releases and stuff, obviously, kind of started in and around that time with Terrifier 2 and Halloween Ends, and it's just kept going and going now, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Uh,
I love it. Like as soon as a horror film drops, unless it's like getting really really bad reviews, I might give it a miss. Like but if it's kind of if it's getting like 5.5 on IMDb, that's good enough for me. I'm gonna or even five.
Shit, if it's getting a 2 on IMDb, I'm still going. I
I
just,
was gonna say to you, what's your limit? So
there is no
two.
there
You've
is
no limit.
there is no limit. If you've seen some of the movies that I've watched, there is no limit. But for me, I don't get to the cinema enough. So once I can watch it at home, like once it drops somewhere or I can buy it, I'll watch it. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah,
And if I'm watching it from the comfort of my own home, I couldn't give a fuck if it's shite or not. I'll finish it because I'm a fucker like that. Once I start the movie, I have to finish it.
yeah. There's something great about watching a film in the cinema, though. I don't know what it is. Like the
Oh, it's
last time I saw
fantastic.
was Romulus. Now I don't like. Sometimes you can come out of a film and watch it in the cinema, and you kind of go in your mind, it's better than what it actually is if you were to watch it at home. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know what it is. It's just that it just draws you in more.
I had the disfortunate pleasure of the last movie I watched was Beetlejuice. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it can stay
So
there too. That's the best I'll say about it. It can stay there. I've
what about
seen it.
Beetlejuice? That's not happening then for you.
I will give it a go. Surely, like once it has the name in it, I'll give it a go. But I don't expect anything from it. Do you know what's worse about it? I went in and everyone was like, "Have you got any optimism about Beetlejuice?" And I was like, "No, I'm going in with it's going to be shy." And they're like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because if it's anyway half decent, I'm happy then." I went in with the thing that it was going to be shy, and it was utterly shy. And
So yeah, what's
I
your
was like,
advice? Do we with like really low expectations or just no expectations?
no expectations, absolutely none. And I was bitterly disappointed coming out of it. I was like really disappointed. But
That's a shame because
then
yeah,
again,
there's nothing
then
worse than
again,
going to see a movie in
I
the
know
cinema coming out
I
feeling
know a lot of
shit.
people that have loved it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm
Mm.
like, okay, like everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's half the best thing about horror. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've
But
another something else coming. We touched on games, like video games. I have a project coming out. It's called Covenant. Something I shot a couple of years ago. Now the guy who directed it was living in Ireland. It's a Welsh guy, but he'd been living in San Francisco, I think, for the last 2 years. I heard nothing about the project. I didn't know what was going to happen with it, or just went quiet. But then suddenly last week he sent me a version of my episode. It's like a little TV miniseries. It's called Covenant. It's in early development still, but he sent my episode. It's based on a game called Undying by Clive Barker. I don't know if it was a game that was released in like 2001.
Hmm.
I didn't really know much about it until he sent me the script, but he based the script around that. It's about a family who it's a bit like you could say it's like Haunting of Hill House, that kind of by Mike Flanagan, where it's about a family and there's like a curse and they kind
Another
of
another show I
this kind
tried to watch on 3 occasions and still haven't finished.
of yeah. But it's a bit similar. It's kind of similar to that in a sense, where it's about a family who have a curse, and it's all interconnected stories and different episodes, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I was blown away by when he sent it to me. I was like, I hadn't seen it or heard about it for so long, and then he sent me the episode, and I was like, wow, this looks great. So I'm excited about that actually.
Is that going to drop over here?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think he's back. He's actually the guy's back over in London at the moment, but he said he had problem getting some footage or something like that. Some politics going on behind the scenes, but it's being pulled together now. And he sent me my episode, but then he said I've another big scene in one of the other episodes as well. But yeah, it should be interesting. I'll keep you updated on that one.
Nice.
Yeah, it's horror themed. It's horror. It's kind of like a lot of dread in it, and it's kind of like a slow paced kind of dread horror, like again, get under your skin kind of one. But it seems to be quite popular at the moment.
Nice. Well, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go when it drops. Right, before we finish up, I'm going to throw a couple of quick fire ones at you. Right?
Sure.
Who's your favorite slasher?
My favorite slasher movie.
Like who would your favorite slasher be?
Oh, slasher. Oh God. Trying to be original here and not come up with one that everyone else does.
You don't need to be original here.
No. Okay, Freddy Krueger.
My man.
Yeah.
It's mine
just
too.
It's an OG. It's just.
It was the first horror film I seen.
Yeah, back in the day, I don't know what it'd be like if I watched it now, but when I first saw it, yeah.
Just don't watch the 2010 one. That's all I'll say.
Oh, I have no intentions. No, yeah, Freddy Krueger, the original. Except the bit where he walked with his hands like really far out like this. I think.
Ironically, that you say Freddy. Look what I just got down at the con the other day.
Oh wow! Yeah. Show me that. I can't really see it properly. Is it this? Oh, the slash. Oh yeah.
No, the Elm Street one.
Oh, I can't really see it properly here, man. It's not
I can't get the camera to work properly on it.
Can't get the angle. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freaky.
So I have a big Freddy on my arm as well.
Oh, nice. So that was a good answer then.
Yeah. Right. What would you prefer, werewolf or vampire, if you had to watch a film?
If I had a choice. God, it's 50-50. I'd just say werewolf because there's not enough of them that I've seen maybe too many vampire movies, so I'd like to see something fresh.
Nice. It's a good choice. Very easy to do a good vampire movie. It's not very easy to do a good werewolf movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, and then throw me your top 5 horror films. Don't have to be in order before we finish up.
Okay.
And you can't be involved in it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that anyway. I could never do that.
I always throw that caveat in right at the end, though. I'm like, no.
Yeah. No, you can't do that. Okay, probably I'd say Alien. It was good. I like that. The first one.
Phenomenal movie.
Yeah. Omen, the original Omen movie.
Have you seen First Omen yet?
Yes, I have.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really good.
Phenomenal.
They really did it justice, didn't they? They really kind of it was a throwback. They did really well with it.
See, I'm not a fan of the original Omen.
Oh, are you not?
But it's there. It's not that I'm not a fan of it. It's just there. It's not one that I'd rush to put on. But I wouldn't turn it off if it was put on. So that kind of, I wouldn't leave
Yeah.
the room.
So I can see why you like the newer version, the update one. But for me,
Yeah,
the original Omen was something where it was more when I saw it and in the time I saw it in my life that it had an impact on me.
yeah.
So that's how I gauge all these films. It's not if I watched it tomorrow or something, it might have a different impact. It's just
That
that
ending of
stage of
first
my life,
Omen.
that age, and how impressionable I was at that time. Like as I mentioned, my wife, she always watches horror films. She got me watching all of them. But I remember when I was a kid, my sister used to babysit me, and she was like sitting up on a Saturday night watching horror movies, and she wouldn't sit there on her own watching them. So she'd like have me when I was like really young. So I was watching like Omen, Amityville, all these Psycho, any horror film you can think of. I was sitting there watching them with her
Nice.
when I was like fucking 7 or 8 or something. So you can understand why films like Omen had such a big impact. It was just,
Yeah.
you know.
It's all for you, Damien.
Yeah. So what other ones have we got? I think it was before we get on air, but it was The Descent. I really enjoyed that as well. It's kind of
Good old
the
Neil
UK one.
Marshall.
I really like that one.
There's another guest on the show, Janine Pipe, who wrote the book for the making of Dog Soldiers, is doing one for The Descent that's going to be due out next year. So it's a book with it, like behind the scenes from all the
Oh,
cast and stuff.
excellent.
So keep an eye out for that when it drops.
Definitely. Because that was a great movie. I really enjoyed that. And that wouldn't be just for me, yeah, just again, it just had that impact when I watched it at the time. It was like,
Fucking
whoa,
horrible movie to watch,
claustrophobic,
wouldn't it?
It just really kind of got you in there with them and the darkness and yeah, they just whatever way they did it was just
Oh, it's fucking
scary.
horrible to watch, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah, it's like when it's over, you're almost like relieved. It's like, yes, I survived.
Craig Conway as the crawler was phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
And,
Stop.
and earlier Andy Serkis, he was with that.
Yeah, he was the OG one. Yeah,
He was with Neil Marshall on all three of his early films. He was the camper that got killed at the start of Dog Soldiers, and he was in Doomsday as well.
Okay.
Wow. And now he has a movie coming out this year as well. So
was the same guy in the movie again? They still work
no, Craig Conway has the movie coming out. I think Neil Marshall's helping him out with it.
Oh, so they're like, I love to hear stories like that where people kind of like make careers together and they kind of stay in touch. Like a lot of the stuff I've done, I kind of keep in touch with a lot of the directors. When I commit to it, when I commit properly to it, like a project, I invest so much of myself into it that the people that are they're with me create, and I feel like if you create a bond with them, it kind of stays there. It's like something like a common thread that you have in common, and I guess for certain films that just stays with you for your whole life.
Yeah,
you can see why these people work together all these years.
Craig's a nice fella. I've had a few conversations with him as well.
Yeah, that's good. So back to the list. How many have I given you now?
3.
2, 3. So it's 5, is it?
Yeah, go with 2 more.
Probably, again, because it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, was Jaws.
Best creature feature ever made.
Yeah.
It's untouchable at number 1.
Yeah, for you?
Yeah.
As
an animal creature feature, it's
untouchable. For yours? Yeah. No, I was just brilliant, Like I know one of my wife's cousins, like she won't go into the water having watched that film. She just hasn't swam her whole life because of Jaws.
I'll give you a quick one before we.
No, that's the reason. There's no other reason. That's it. She won't get into the water, and she's like a grown woman now.
There's a funny story. So we went away a couple of years ago. We went to Puerto Rico, right? And we were there the night before. The 2 kids were in bed, and she was asleep, and I was flicking through the TV, and Jaws was only starting, and I was like, "Grand, gotta watch this, right?" And about half an hour into watching it, we get a text from her mom and dad, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to the beach tomorrow." And we're like, "All right, we'll bring the kids down to the beach." I hate the beach. I fucking hate the beach. I detest sand, and I'm not getting into the sea. Right, so we were down there at the beach, and next thing you know, like an alarm went, like not an alarm, but people started panicking because a kid was missing. I was like, I just seen this last night. I know what the fuck happened here.
Yeah.
Thankfully the kid was found.
Racing is like fuck.
Thankfully the kid was found. But we went back, and again, everyone was in bed that night. And I was flicking through on another channel on the thing. Jaws was halfway through, and I was like, "All right, I'll watch Jaws again." So,
Yeah, yeah,
and
that's convenient.
the night again, the next night was on a different channel, and I was like, "Okay, Jaws it is."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Any more incidents on the beaches after that? No, that was just the one thing.
I didn't go back to the beach.
Oh, really?
No, we
Yeah.
went to the
You
beach
spent all
once.
your you spent half your time your holiday cleaning the sand from your feet
Oh,
and your shoes and all that.
oh fuck that! No, oh no, I hate it.
I love beaches. Ironically, yeah, I have no fear of the water. I'll swim anywhere.
Nope,
I'm good. I even went swimming here in Skerries on Christmas Day. Even
nope,
freezing cold. Yeah, yeah.
nope, 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 nope. Oh,
So
and
Jaws,
I'm from Bray, like, and it's a seaside town. But even when I was younger, I never liked the sea.
yeah.
So, no,
You never know. You could find a new chapter in your life where you kind of embrace
I
it.
can wholeheartely tell you that that's not going to happen. No,
But
no,
I'll tell you, you never know. I know. Yeah. I will. I think. Yeah, I believe you. I don't think you're going to budge on that one.
no,
No chance.
no.
So yeah, the top one then would probably be, or not the top one. It's just another one. Um, there's a couple of modern ones. There's yeah. God, I think if I go traditional, I'll go for a more modern one. I'm going to go for Host. I don't know if you saw that one.
Now,
The one where
is it
they
is
were
it
shot
the
during COVID.
okay? Yeah, so I was gonna say, is it the Japanese one or is it the English one?
The English one where it was shot
It
and it was
was
like,
so good, wasn't it?
yeah, that was great because
So
again it was COVID and it was everyone was kind of stuck. So they found a novel way of making a movie in
yeah.
that kind of environment where it was over Zoom. I don't know if people listening will know the movie, but it's great. It's really good.
Um. I'm trying to find you one's name. Rob Savage and Gemma Hurley.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
know what? Because when I was in, I actually met. I know those guys that were involved in that because when I did cat calls with Kate, we headed over to the London Film Festival for a week. It got picked to screen at it, so we headed there for a week, and like we got these badges with our names on them, and it just meant that for the whole week you get access to all the
Everything.
any film you wanted, all the like the parties at night, all the like all these talks. So I got to meet all these producers, casting directors, other actors, walk on the red carpet and all. It was a brilliant experience. It was phenomenal. But one of the people I met was Rob Savage because he had one of his very first. He was collaborating with a guy called Jed Shepard.
Yeah.
They both did host together. But they had a really good short movie. You should check it out. It's a horror called Salt. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
It's really good. It's about like salt, as in if you're inside a ring of salt, it can protect you from
Yeah.
stuff. Definitely check it out. It's on Vimeo or somewhere like that. But they had their film screened with catcalls, so we all went to the pub afterwards for a couple of drinks and we were chatting and I kept in touch with them. Still in touch with them now, but they were talking about during COVID. It was like, oh, everyone's like, what are we doing? Nobody's doing it, and and they were like, oh, we've got a great idea for a film. Apparently, Jed woke up in the middle of the night and was like, oh, fucking Zoom seance. That's he just got divine inspiration. That's where it came from nowhere. He just woke up and he texted Rob straight away, dude, we got to make this movie in COVID because we can do it because if it's going to be all done by Zoom remotely.
Yeah.
So they're
Great
brilliant.
movie.
I just thought they really pushed the boundaries of horror with that movie. That's why I really liked it because it was again at a time where there wasn't much content coming out, and some of the
Yeah.
other COVID based stuff was really pants. It was shit. But I thought that was novel and it worked. It
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I'd
I
say
loved it.
there was an American version of something similar to that, Unfriended,
Right, didn't
where
see that
it
one.
was all kind of done over webcam and stuff. Slightly different. It's more of a serial killer one, but like same premise of everything's on webcam. You know what I mean?
Right.
But host I thought was phenomenal.
Well, because because everyone was like they were stuck in their house and there was that sense of isolation already when you were sitting there watching it, and you could kind of empathize with the characters because they were stuck in their houses and they
Yeah,
could only everything was done remotely. You know what I mean? But it was obviously when shit hit the fan, it got really interesting. So I thought that was a good novel horror movie. So I'd have to put that in there because it's a modern one and it's done
nice.
well. Yeah. Mm.
Right. I think that's time enough for the evening. Martin, we'll definitely have you back on, and we'll maybe we'll do one with just outside horror, you know, that kind of way, where it's not just on you and everything else. We can just chat.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And I've really enjoyed this. It's been great.
Yeah,
You know, I don't really do stuff like this. It's probably one of the first times I've kind of like spoke openly about
everything.
what I'm doing. I actually had a couple of 2 weeks where I was doing nothing. I was like, you got in touch, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then obviously the day later, someone sent me a script, and it was like this long dialogue, and I was like, oh, but you know, I've got to go and learn this. But I wanted to do this, and just felt
Yeah.
like give some time to
Sometimes
you.
sometimes it's nice to get a break as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
From
definitely. It's nice to do this. It's something different, you know, for sure. And I'll be off, obviously waking up tomorrow, and I'll be learning that script. But no, this has been great. I definitely do it again sometime for sure.
oh, absolutely, and you're welcome back anytime. But what we'll do, folks, is we'll leave it the way we finish every single Friday night. In the words of the great George A. Romero, ladies and gentlemen, stay scared.